In the Mix with Chris Rock.
I'm Alec Baldwin. I'm here with the gorgeous Gina.
I'm Larry King, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kelly Ripa, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Matt Lauer, and you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Kathy Lee. And I'm Hoda. And you're watching In the Mix.
I'm Bethany Frankel, and you're watching In the Mix.
In the Mix.
Welcome to this episode of In the Mix here at the Cutting Room. I'm Gina Jordan. Well, we've got a packed show for you guys today. Susan Lucci, that's right, we're gonna go one-on-one with Erica Kane at the annual Bay Street Gala in Sag Harbor. But first, I want to introduce you to a totally rad 80s tribute band, Rubix Kube. Meet Madonna. Or should I say Sherry, David, Scott, Steve, John, and Mike. The awesome six eyes of the hit 80s tribute band, Rubix Kube, who can transform themselves into a plethora of memorable 80s stars. Rubix Kube has a radical following of famous fans who lived through the 80s, including Katie Couric, Run DMC, Kelly Ripa, MC Hammer, and even Dee Schneider, who recently performed with the Cube. Yet the Cube collects fans of all ages and recently caused a pileup of ticket holders outside of Stevens Talk House in Amagansett, New York. All right, guys, so guess who's here with us right now? I want everybody here to put your hands together for ITM's Artist of the Week, the 80s band to the stars, guys, Rubix Kube. Guys, we got Sherry, David, Scott, and Steve. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you.
It means so much that you guys took the time on your tour around the universe to make your stop here at ITM. I recently went to try to watch you guys perform in Amagansett at the Talk House, and there were 600 screaming people outside. And then while we were inside, the view, I mean, literally, like, it was so packed, and this really drunk guy almost threw up on me. But the point was that I was so psyched for you guys because the following is incredible. I mean, I don't remember the Talk House being this packed since forever. Billy Joel's performed there, Bon Jovi. I think Paul McCartney has made an appearance at the Talk House. And I don't know if he ever packed it to the point of Rubix Kube.
No, it's a scientific fact that Rubix Kube has brought more people into that place than any other musician or band ever.
That was good.
It's proven.
It's proven.
It's
Yes, it
science.
is.
It's science.
Yeah, it is
Congratulations, though.
Mathematical.
Thank you.
Because that's incredible. It's amazing. So I want to know, first off, how did you guys come together and create an 80s tribute band?
It was actually quite easy. A couple of us were sitting in the hot tub. Another couple were in like an old phone booth. The rest of us just kind of jumped into the DeLorean, right? Just made our way back to 1980s, and bam, Rubix Kube
We're
was
all
born.
time
It's that
machine
simple.
aficionados.
Yeah.
And,
I love it.
No, we're all musicians and different projects. And in 2007, we just got sick of seeing other 80s bands murder the music of our favorite decade. And we love it so much, and we all lived it. And we thought, let's bring it back, but let's do it right.
Where did the name Rubix Kube come from?
Our drummer said when he was thinking of ideas for the name of the band, he kept seeing Rubik's Cubes. They kept popping up. And of course, it's the most, iconic symbol of the entire decade, and everyone associates it with the 80s, so it kind of just all worked. And there's six sides to the cube, and there's six members of us.
When it comes to what your fans request most, what are like the top 5 requests?
That would be anything by Van Halen, Journey.
Jump.
We get a lot of that. Anything high energy, all the dance stuff. It's funny, we get a little bit of everything.
Madonna.
Yeah, of course, a Madonna. We get
Michael Jackson.
We get honestly a little bit of everything, and it's cool because the older fans, the people who were really young in the 80s, they want to hear the more obscure stuff, like The Missing Persons and Adam Ant and Berlin and stuff like that. Yeah, the Vapors. But we get requests for everything.
And what's amazing is that we actually get to do all of them. We're not a specific genre. We're not doing just hair metal of the 80s or just dance. We do everything and do costume changes, so it really frees it up. Anything somebody will request, our only criteria is that it was in the 80s and that it was a #1 hit.
But when you first started, what was it like? Were you performing for specific private parties and then it just grew from there? Just briefly the evolution of how you guys ended up where you're at now.
Well, when we started out, it was this typical Long Island bar band type situation, but it was surprising how many people would come up to us afterwards and go, "Oh my God, you guys are incredible. When are you coming back? When are we going to see you again? Are you playing here like next week? Are you here every week?" And so that's how we began to realize that, well, I guess we can be here every week. And we started to play more and more places, and just people just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming.
Do you all transform into each of these characters?
It depends on the song. Most of the time, we're like playing the start of the song while one of them is changing. But there are songs, specific songs like Cher, Turn Back Time, we'll all throw on our sailor hats and our aviator glasses.
Or Prince, we all dress up like Prince in the Revolution with the the crazy jackets and the ruffles. And
I don't dress up as Prince, I dress up as the symbol. So I don't know about you guys. But then like Video Killed the Radio Star, we'll all get into our silver costume. So there are songs where all of us will do it. But you'll always see something new. Each song, because we have the luxury of having two amazing singers, they're constantly changing back and forth. It's really a lot of fun.
Who turns into Michael Jackson?
Well, that would be me.
That would be you.
Surprisingly.
How many wardrobe changes are in one performance?
it depends. I do 13 myself, and Scott.
I'm about 6 average.
Wow.
The guys
It's best to ask our roadies who have to carry all these suitcases.
Yeah, they probably know the exact number. They can probably
Well, you
tell
can afford roadies now, right? So that's not a problem.
Yeah, actually,
Right.
yeah.
When it comes to wardrobe, how do you guys find your wardrobe? Because it's magnificent. I don't know if you guys
you.
can see Sherry's shoes and I mean all your shoes. It's really like you guys take us back in time.
We have,
Right? Don't you guys feel like you look at them and it's like it's
we do.
nostalgic?
We actually put a lot of time into it.
Stop showing off your abs, David, okay? We know you've got
That's
great
what
abs.
he's doing.
Hey, I was
He's
told
always
to leave
trying
the
to-
shirt on for this interview.
Seriously.
Yeah, you normally don't see him with a shirt.
The girls are very upset right now.
Surprised he's not flexing too.
Don't
Look
worry.
at her shoes.
He is. You can
Here's
see
a
from this
little
side
flag.
he is.
What are you talking about?
We get our clothes all over. We really do like to wear vintage 80s clothes. A lot of our pieces are actual clothes from the 80s.
She gave us everything, I mean, in the very beginning, and then once I started getting into it, it's weird how this happens. Every store I go into, I'm immediately looking for pink. I'm immediately looking for neon.
Neon.
Yeah.
Neon. That was a thigh high, wasn't it?
Yes,
I think so.
actually,
I love
yes.
it.
Yes. Uh-huh.
What was her name?
And then these
Checkered Sally.
and they all have vintage actual, like these are 80s sneakers and they all have vintage like shoes, actual 80s.
Yeah, some of the stuff is stuff that I've had since the 80s.
All right, I want to talk about each of you and how you got into music in general. So let's start with you, Sherry. How did you get into music? And then now you're lead singer of the most successful 80s band ever.
I'm a late bloomer. I'm the late bloomer out of the group. I always loved music, been a huge music fan. My older sister gave me my first album when I was like 7 years old. It was Pat Benatar record. From then, I was hooked on everything. And I always sang in high school and karaoke, but I never sang professionally until about 7.5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and I just I was singing in a live rock and roll karaoke band at Arlene's Grocery, and I was actually approached by Moby, who asked me to be in this side project with him, and so my first job singing ever was being a backup singer with him. And then the 80s band evolved with the guys, and the rest, as they say, is history.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's a really
Moby.
great story. That's why it's never too late, though, because I was in my 30s, and I totally changed my career path from full-time career woman to a jumping around in a miniskirt.
Good for you, girl power. No, it's true. It's never too late.
No.
Absolutely not. David.
My father and uncle were in a band growing up. We would listen to their music from the 70s, and we were big fans. They were really our inspiration, them and Kiss. So
What was their band called?
Z, believe it or not.
Cool.
And myself and my brother, we started playing when we were like 10 and played in bands together forever. And we had a bunch of different bands, but my first big break, I actually was playing with the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And I still play with them to this day. I've been with them for like 13 years. And from there, that opened. I mean, once you get into something that big, it opens up so many doors. I was Joan Jett's bass player for a long time. I never knew anything else that I wanted to do in life. I mean, there are many other things that I can do, but nothing that would give me this kind of satisfaction. And when I joined Rubix Kube, originally I had no desire to look like this or dress like this.
In fact, as I recall, you said you weren't going to.
Yes,
Right,
well,
right.
professionally speaking.
I love that story.
Yeah.
Well,
It's great. I asked him to be in the band. I said, please join us as our bass player. He said, okay, but I'm not wearing any of that crazy 80s stuff.
So funny. And now he's got a
And look
neon.
at me
Now he's the worst.
And now he's got a neon lightning bolt in his ear. By the way,
Exactly.
it suits you though. It looks
Exactly.
cool.
And wears
Thank you.
fishnet underwear.
Really,
Excuse me, correction, I don't wear underwear.
No, can't wear that under there.
Scott.
The story is pretty simple, and I was in bands in high school and then afterwards, and just trying to be an original rock guy through the 90s, and when that didn't happen, I pretty much just hung it up. And then I just went and sat behind or in front of a computer for the next 10 years or something until this opportunity was presented to me. Same thing what Sherry was talking about, going to the rock and roll karaoke. It was just something to do as a lark, even just to be into being able to sing again. I had absolutely no idea it was going to turn into a way to make a living. It's when you're not looking for it. It's like falling in love. When you're not looking for it, when you're not trying, when you're not desperate for it, then it just kind of wanders over to you and says, hey, I'll be here for you.
Just fell asleep for a second.
Steve, share with us your story.
Oh boy.
Oh, my
The
story.
spotlight
Well,
is on
really,
you.
They kidnapped me.
Yeah.
I don't even like these guys. They kidnapped me. I was 8 years old. I heard Van Halen 1, Eruption, and a week later, I was taking guitar lessons. And 4 years later, I was 12 years old, and I started my first band called Trickster in New Jersey, Paramus, New Jersey, the mall capital of New Jersey. And we started this band together and wrote some songs, and within 4 years, we were one of the biggest bands in northern New Jersey and signed a major record deal when I was 18 with this band Trickster, and wrote a couple cool songs, which some of you guys might have heard. One in a Million has a lot of meaning to it. And,
There's a lot of people.
And our most famous song, which was a #1 video, we had 3 #1 videos on MTV. Give It To Me Good, a song that took me about 10 minutes to write, which you can probably imagine with that title. And long story short, I had a great career with that band, and time went on and grunge took over. A couple years later, I ran into these guys on the Trickster reunion tour, and I got a phone call out of the blue from Sherry, and she said, we're looking for a new guitar player, and would you be interested in this? And I said, you know what? I think I would be interested in this, and it's been an amazing ride. We've had so much fun. I've been in the band only 7 months.
Wow.
And it's been such a great time.
I'd love one of you guys just to explain all the members of the band, because you're all not here today. This isn't everybody.
No.
So please, Sherry, why don't you explain everybody, all the parts of the band?
Yes, well, we're missing one of our founding members, John, the Machina La Spina, who is our drummer, our driving force, our engine, and also our amazing keyboard player who's been with us several years, Michael Pieck, who we nicknamed Pex because David has him on this strict exercise regimen, and now he has a 6-pack like Dave's.
Nice.
Almost like Dave's, not
Almost
exactly
like
like
Dave's?
Dave's, but
I thought yours was a 12-pack. No?
14.
Anybody?
Well, 13. I'm working on the 14.
Is that the thing? Is he?
30-pack.
Are you Mr. Healthy?
Yes.
While they're all.
Well, no. Technically, I shouldn't say that. So I eat like shit.
You eat like shit, but
we
you just
at
have
our
a
gig in
12-pack.
Massachusetts, I just had 101 oysters. So that's.
That's not shit. Did you wash it down with beer?
No, I don't drink.
No.
I actually don't drink.
You
I
don't
don't
even
do drugs. I
consume
don't
it?
smoke.
That's why.
So that's the healthy part, I guess.
That's why. That's
food,
good.
sex, and rock and roll. That's
That's
his.
right.
That's
Food,
his,
sex,
that's his
and
life.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
So if you're an 80s
Totally.
band
It's
to the
terrible.
stars, who were some of the stars that you've had the pleasure of performing for?
D. Effin Snyder. So great, so much fun. Brett Michaels, Tone Loke, Rob Bass, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany. First time they ever performed together was at our show.
so
First
cool.
time they were on stage together, so we made
MC Hammer?
history. MC Hammer.
Come on.
Yeah, Bonnie Tyler was the very first celeb we ever performed with. You never know who's going to show up at a Rubik's Kube show.
Your fan base is just incredible, because I think the age span
Yes.
goes from little kids to 70-year-olds. Shall we just throw that out there potentially?
We did an outdoor event where there was a 90-year-old there doing fist pumps. So I believe 90 is the oldest fan that we know of. But we've had babies. I mean, we've done seriously.
Sponsored by Smuckers.
Yeah, the 80s are so great and the demographics so huge. I mean, the majority of our fans at clubs are in their 20s and college kids, which is awesome.
Have you done a European tour? Like literally, have you gone
Last year.
overseas?
Last year we did for the first time. We went through Serbia and Kosovo, and then over to Germany, and played for the troops. It was a really cool experience.
Played 99 Luftballons.
Luftballons. Go to RubixKube.com because these guys are amazing. Buy tickets to their upcoming shows. Jones Beach, August 29th. September, they'll be right here at the Cutting Room, so be sure to check them out. September 7th, back at the Talk House, right?
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate it. Woo! We had so much fun. Now, still to come with a one-on-one with Susan Lucci. Don't move.
In the mix.
Just point.
With nowhere to
Just speak.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just point.
how much I still
Just speak.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the odds
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of In the Mix is presented by LG. Life's good.
in the mix.
Welcome back to this star-studded episode of In the Mix here at the Cutting Room. I'm Gina Jordan. Now, ITM recently hit the Hamptons to bring you our newest segment called In the Mix Tech Fix. That's right, In the Mix recently hit the Hamptons to attend an invite-only event, Brunch with Bentley, where we got a sneak peek of several luxury items for the rich and famous.
Hey, I'm Gina Jordan, and you are in the mix here at the Bentley Brunch with LG.
Bentley, Jet Aviator, LG, and more hit Watermill to offer invite-only VIPs a taste of the good life.
The Bentley Brunch is about 20 sponsors today, from Jeffrey Collet, who built this beautiful $25 million home, to, of course, Bentley here with this $350,000 Mulsanne, and we have FP Journe, we have Cognac Crozet, which is actually served on the Titanic. We have fine cigars from Cohiba, and about 18 other sponsors that are just the best in class.
Upon arrival, VIP guests were handed a glass of the finest bubbly and carted up to the 9-bedroom, 8-bathroom, 50-plus acre estate, currently on the market for a mere $25 million.
Beechnut Farm has 7 bedrooms, 9 bathrooms, 2 powder rooms, 16,800 square feet. It's available for purchase for $24,995,000.
After a tour of the mansion, guests feasted on 5-star treats, bid on fine art to benefit the Red Cross, posed in fine jewels, puffed away on Macanito's hand-rolled cigars, and took a spin in Bentley's latest creation.
I'm a regional marketing manager for Bentley Motors North America. You're looking at a vehicle here that's entirely built with these two things in front of you. There's no machinery involved, especially in the Bentley Mulsanne. A vehicle that's 100% handcrafted in Crewe, England. For instance, the steering wheel itself takes approximately 14 hours to hand stitch a Bentley steering wheel, not just in Mulsanne, but across the entire product range. We also build Mulsanne to order, so you will not find really a massive amount of inventory on this car. They're usually built and produced only by a customer order.
Yet, even after the fine food and fast cars, it was 84 inches of HD that had this crowd seeing 3D.
I've never seen something this nice before. I would definitely be interested in purchasing it.
Guests went gaga for the latest in flat screen technology.
It is a movie theater in your home.
LG's Senior VP of Marketing, James Fischler, personally unveiled LG's latest flat screen TV.
It's the equivalent of 4 42-inch TVs. That's what an 84-inch 4K TV is. 4 42-inch TVs at 1080p. This remote acts much like your Wii controller at home. It's motion controlled and it allows you to navigate the TV. There's also some games integrated for your kids. And this TV is also 3D and smart connected or internet connected as well. We have an unbelievable sound package. There's actually 10 speakers built into the television. It's internet connected, so a plethora of content is available. And then it upconverts anything you have in terms of content to ultra high definition. So if you have a DVD or a Blu-ray player or a video game and you want to watch it in ultra high def, this TV will do that for you today.
LG's 84-inch Ultra HD retails for a mere $20,000. According to James, you don't have to be a millionaire to experience the best in LG's Ultra HD technology.
Last week, we introduced for the first time in the United States a 55 and a 65-inch in ultra high def as well, just smaller screen sizes. Not everybody has a place in their home for an 84-inch. So it's a new technology, but at a lower price point, $6,000 and $8,000 respectively.
Right now, I'm going to try to go get somebody to purchase this television. This is going to be a challenge for me. I don't know if I'm going to make it happen, but I'm going to try.
I think you can make it happen, but don't forget our agreement. If you can't find someone to buy it, you're going to buy one. So.
All right, that sounds good, especially with my salary. Now, what would make you purchase this television today?
I would say definitely the quality of the picture would definitely, and my husband's wallet.
If I had a large enough living room, I'd probably need a very big TV.
I don't have the space in my Manhattan apartment. I don't really watch TV.
What would make you purchase a $20,000 television, for instance?
Ego.
How would you talk your wife into purchasing a $20,000 television?
Well, I would tell her it's a gift for her, but really it's a gift for me.
All right, well, still to come, we go one-on-one with Susan Lucci, Erica Kane. Don't move.
Just point.
With nowhere to love
Just move.
to turn.
Just share.
You saw me
As you naturally would.
and showed me
Just point.
how much I still
Just move.
have to learn.
Just share.
And the
Smart. Inspired by you. LG Cinema 3D Smart TV.
This episode of In the Mix is presented by LG. Life's good. This episode of In the Mix is catered by Delmonico's Kitchen, located at 207 West 36th Street and 7th Avenue in New York City.
Welcome back to this episode of In the Mix here at the Cutting Room. I'm Gina Jordan. Now, this hardworking team recently took a field trip over to Sag Harbor, where we attended the annual Bay Street Gala, hosted by the one and only Susan Lucci.
In the Mix recently sailed down to Sag Harbor, New York, to celebrate a 22-year-old landmark, the Bay Street Theater, tucked away in a scenic corner along the Long Wharf.
What we do here is we try to make things enjoyable, but a little more challenging, not just the linear musical that you know the whole score to.
Several famous faces have performed center stage at the beloved Bay Street Theater, including Matthew Broderick, Jim Brewer, Richard Kind, and Rachel Dratch.
The audience at Bay Street Theater were the most receptive, open, patient, giving, dignified group I think that I've ever done a show for.
Bay Street entertains guests year-round with Broadway-worthy productions, thanks to proceeds from their annual summer gala, Rock the Duck. Over the years, many celebrities have come out to support the gala with their fellow thespians. Naomi Watts, Alec Baldwin, and Joy Behar are friendly faces who support the theater. When it comes to the annual gala, several celebs have played host, including Julie Andrews, Chris Bauer, and Mario Cantone.
I'm living out here, and I very much want to be a part of this community.
This season, the one and only Susan Lucci took center stage to host the festivities.
Susan Lucci! Woo! Susan, it's such a pleasure to see you.
Great to see you too.
And
Good
happy
to be
summer.
here. Happy summer. It feels like a perfect summer evening.
The Hamptons.
The Hamptons, yes.
Are your hometown?
Yes. I grew up in Garden City in Nassau County, but we have a house in Quogue, and we've been coming here for a long time.
You travel a lot, though, you and your husband, right?
Yes.
But during the summer, are you mostly in the Hamptons?
Well, we go back and forth between here and the city. I finished shooting in Atlanta the first season of Devious Maids, the new show.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. We will get to Devious Maids. You guys can't see this, but her husband over here, Helmet, is off the camera. He's so dedicated. He's holding her purse because he's extremely manly and holding her jacket, but he looks at Susan like it's the first day the two of you have met. And I've met him many times, and no joke, he looks at you so in love.
Thank you.
When you come through Sag Harbor, folks, there's no missing the Bay Street Theater. So what a wonderful theater to support. Why did you choose to support this season?
I was asked this season to be the host, and I was really happy. But I have come to the Bay Street Theater every year to the theater to see productions there. It's one of my favorite summer things to do. You know, in January when you're freezing and you think, will I ever be there again? Will I ever be there again? Bay Street Theater is definitely one of the things I want to do, to go to the American Hotel and Bay Street
That's
Theater.
right. I mean, what a beautiful weekend. If you can fit all that in and get some time off to do that, fantastic opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
What are you doing? I'm starting up the merry-go-round. But honey,
relax. It's Philippe. And if memory serves me, your ride won't last that long.
The name of Susan's character in Devious Maids is Geneviève, and she pronounces it much better than me. How is this role different than an Erica Kane in your life? This is an interesting character.
It's an interesting character. Well, both Erica and Geneviève love to have men in their lives. They've both been married a number of times, and they both have great clothes. So that much they have in common. But beyond that, Geneviève, I would say, is more vulnerable. She's very romantic. She's even somewhat of an innocent, even though she's been married 5 times. Not as many times as Erica Kane. But she's looking and she's hoping. In fact, when I auditioned for the part, Mark described her as a woman who, for her whole life, had attracted one wealthy, powerful man after another, and now she doesn't have such a man in her life, and it's just making her feel like maybe she's lost her mojo, and it's driving her a little crazy.
So one of the episodes you were pushed into a bunch of...
Oh, I fell back into the bushes because I was looking for... lucky me, as an actress that I work with Eddie Ganem as Valentina, the daughter of Judy Reyes' character Zoila, who is the chief housekeeper in my Beverly Hills home, as Geneviève. I had the best time every day working with them.
So fun.
And in one episode last week, Geneviève fought with Zoila, and she went to find Zoila to kind of make it right again. So she went to Zoila's neighborhood and couldn't remember exactly which house, and went to the wrong house and looked in the windows saying, Zoila, I know you're in there, but Zoila wasn't in there, but a Doberman was. And the Doberman came rushing up at the window, and that's what threw Geneviève back into the bushes.
Got it. You know, you've had the good fortune of playing some incredible characters in your career, and then you just get handed this Mark Cherry incredible character. How does it feel?
Well, I felt so excited. Mark and I met when All My Children was canceled, and when All My Children was no longer on the air at ABC, my goal was to go forward, and my wish list was two things. First of all, to play a part that I was just as excited about now as I was about Erica Kane when I first auditioned for that part. And Mark had asked me to come and audition for the part of Geneviève, so it wasn't handed to me. I flew to Los Angeles and auditioned, and my audition scene was actually the scene under the bed from the first episode. That was my audition scene, which I immediately loved, and I love Mark Cherry. I'm a longtime fan of his. And so the other goal was to be in good hands, and my goodness, could I be in better hands than Mark Cherry?
You really can. What a talented man.
Talented
Very
man.
talented
And I must
writer.
say, Lifetime has been spectacular in showing their love of the show and their support for all of us. It's been great.
And it's wonderful programming, of course. Strong women.
Strong women,
which is a good
empower
thing.
women, and the women in the cast, well, everybody in the cast, large ensemble cast
All
of Devious
well-known
Maids.
ladies, yeah.
And fabulous. I sit on a Sunday night, we tweet live during the broadcast, and I watch every single person's performance, and I am blown away and so proud to be part of the show, part of that cast, get to have this fabulous Mark Cherry dialogue.
When you're saying
We
like
do,
you
we
literally
tweet live.
you're in your pajamas tweeting during
Yes,
the show?
definitely. I'm always in my
love
pajamas
that.
tweeting.
I just want to ask you, other projects up and coming, or is Devious Maids taking up all of Susan's time right now?
Well, we finished the season just before May. So I'm back in New York, and while I'm in New York, I'm shooting season number 2 of a show called Deadly Affairs. Deadly Affairs on Discovery will be premiering in August on Saturday nights at 10, and Devious Maids will continue through the early part of the fall. Yes, Sunday nights at 10.
What a talented young lady you are. I mean, you have she's got 2 shows going on at the same time.
I am so lucky, beyond lucky.
You're very fortunate, and thank you for coming and sitting with us, and we look forward to talking to you later in the season when you have more, I don't know, Emmys, the Emmys 2014. Come on, Emmys 2014. But it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
A pleasure
I wish you all the
always.
best.
You
I
look
wish you all the
beautiful.
best.
It's
Thank
so
you.
good to see
As do
you.
you. Thank you. Have fun tonight.
Thank you.
You can log on to baystreet.org for more show information. Now I want to give a very special thanks to all of the guests today. Susan Lucci, James Fischler, and Rubix Kube. That's right. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. We look forward to seeing you next time in the Mixx.